Hey everybody, how you doing today? We're here live for game number 7 of the 2022 season, featuring the undefeated 6-0 Ohio State Buckeyes, who are second ranked, coming in at 3-0 in the Big Ten Conference. Welcoming in the 3-3 Iowa Hawkeyes, who are currently 1-2 in the Big Ten. What's going on, everybody? I'm Andy Evans. Welcome to the Columbus Wired pregame preview. And I tell you what, campus is bumping today. The shoe's already bumping, and I don't know if you can hear him down the way. Probably not over the speakers here in Ohio Stadium, but Fox Sports is here for today's big noon kickoff. And why shouldn't this place be on edge? Why shouldn't it be crazy? It's only the 65th meeting and 100-year anniversary of the first time that these two teams met. Now, it's officially the 66th meeting. However, I'm saying 65th because the 2010 contest that took place between the two teams officially wiped off the books, hence this being the 65th meeting. But 100 years ago today was the first time ever that these two teams played, and it took place right here in the Horseshoe. Unfortunately, the Buckeyes did not come out victorious in that one. Let me find my notes here. Yeah, 1922. They lost 12-9 here in the Horseshoe. In fact, for the first 4 meetings between the Buckeyes and Hawkeyes, Ohio State went 0-3-1, where all 3 of those losses happened right here. The only tie was over in Iowa City. However, 1926, the Buckeyes finally got off the schneid, beat the Hawkeyes 23-6 here in the Horseshoe, and then backed it up the very next year, getting their second win in the series in 1927 with a 13-6 win in Niall Kinnick Stadium. So, let's do some quick math here. Ohio State, 46-15-3 overall against the Hawkeyes. Of course, once again, that record does not include the 20-17 win the Buckeyes had against the Hawkeyes in Iowa City in 2010 because of Tattoo-gate, right? So if you include that game, it'd give them 47 wins. However, not 46 wins in 65 games. That's still a pretty healthy lead over the Hawkeyes. Once again, 46-15-3. Now, up until 1963, this rivalry was actually pretty close for the first 25 games of the series, and the Buckeyes held only a slight 13-10-2 edge. 13 wins against 10 losses, 2 ties in the first 25 games of the series leading into that 1963 game. So if you're good at math, which I'm not, especially on the fly, let's see, 46-15-3, and going into 1963, Ohio State was 13-10-2. So it's been practically 60 years, and Iowa has won a total of 5 games since 1962. 60 years, and the Hawkeyes have only been able to beat the Buckeyes 5 times since then. However, the last time these two teams played, yeah, you know where I'm going with this one, right? 2017 in Iowa City, and the Hawkeyes handed the Buckeyes their worst ever defeat in the series. Never had Ohio State lost by as many points as they did in 2017 as they lost in that game. 55-24 was the final score. That was also the most amount of points that Iowa has ever scored against Ohio State. I won't go into specifics, but we remember it was not a good game. J.T. Barrett, 4 interceptions in that contest, including the game's first offensive play where he threw a pick-6. I hope you can hear him down there. They are getting fired up for this one on the Fox Big Nooner, which is obviously going to kick off here in just a couple of hours. Nonetheless, that was a bad loss. Ryan Day talked to his guys throughout the week and told them. In fact, he even started, some of the guys said, after the Michigan State game, started talking to them about this upcoming matchup, and they had 2 weeks now to prepare for this. In fact, both teams were on a bye week last week, so both teams have had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, and throughout that time, some of the players said, yeah, Ryan Day, he still has a bitter taste in his mouth from that loss. And of course, that was Ryan Day's first year being a coach here on the Ohio State staff. Of course, that was under Urban Meyer as a quarterbacks coach. Now he's the head man. They said he still can't forget the way that that game left him, and has been preaching to them about coming in here and avenging that loss, even though basically nobody from that 2017 remains on this team, at least nobody that's really out there on the field every play. And still, Ryan Day wants these guys to remember what that loss was like, and has really harped on them to come out here today and get the job done. So, what do we know about this current Iowa Hawkeye team? Well, they're led by Kirk Ferentz, 24th year at Iowa, which is not only the school's longest tenured coach, but also the Big Ten Conference's longest tenured head coach as far as current head coaches are concerned. Took over for the late, great Hayden Fry in 1999. And we know that Kirk Ferentz has led a very good program. In fact, he took the team to the Big Ten championship game against Michigan last year. They didn't fare so well, but they still played in the game. This year, though, having some issues. Like I said, they're 3-3 overall, 1-2 in the conference. Now, what we do know is that Iowa's defense is very, very good. However, their offense, not so much. But this is an Iowa defense that is going to come in here, I'm sure, highly motivated, looking to squander a lot of offensive opportunities for Ohio State. The Hawkeyes right now, overall defense ranked 7th in the country. They are also 3rd in passing yards allowed, and they're only allowing 154 passing yards a game, and they're 2nd in overall pass efficiency defense. So this is an Iowa defense that knows how to stop the pass. A couple of guys to keep your eye on for Iowa's defense today. Number 31, senior linebacker Jack Campbell, getting some looks as far as the Bednarik Award, the Butkus Award, which is handed out to the best linebacker. He leads the conference right now and is top 10 in the country with 62 tackles. Also, keep your eye on sophomore defensive back Cooper DeJean, number 3. He's top 7 in the conference right now with 8 pass breakups, and he's 2nd in the conference with 3 interceptions. And we've seen what a good passing defense can do against Ohio State's offense. Remember, back a few weeks ago when Rutgers came in here, quarterback CJ Stroud had legitimately the worst game of his Ohio State career, only throwing for like 154 yards, threw an interception, was like 59% complete on the day. Rutgers really stymied him. So if Iowa can follow the same game plan, it could be an interesting day for CJ Stroud and guys like Emeka Egbuka, who's 6th in the country right now in receiving yards. Marvin Harrison, who's got 9 touchdowns on the year, as well as Cade Stover and Julian Fleming, 2 guys who have really come on when it comes to the passing game. So can that Iowa defense, that 7th rated overall defense in the country, stop the nation's 2nd rated offense? Buckeyes coming in at 543 yards a game. They're number 1 at putting points on the scoreboard, averaging 48 points per game. And of course, you know who, CJ Stroud leading the charge, even with that Rutgers game. Right now, he is the most efficient passer in the country, the only quarterback in all of FBS to have over a 200 rating, and he sits right now at a 207, which is 20 points higher than Hendon Hooker from Tennessee, who we all saw that crazy game that he led against Alabama, and we know that he's for real. But CJ Stroud right now sitting 20 points ahead of Hendon Hooker, who's in second place. So if that doesn't say something about the way CJ Stroud has still played this year, I don't really know what does. He's also first, excuse me, he's third in the nation in points responsible for is CJ with 144 points responsible for, and he's tied for first right now with 24 touchdown passes. So Ryan Day said earlier in the week also, when it concerns this Ohio State offense, that he expects both running backs, Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams, to play today. And according to the unavailable report that was just released here, little after 9 o'clock this morning, neither name is on the list. And that's good news. I mean, Henderson hasn't played since the second half against Michigan State when he got whacked in the hip and had to go sit out for the rest of the game. Williams didn't even play in that game because of an unspecified injury. However, Henderson didn't play against Rutgers. Mayan Williams did. Mayan Williams had a really good game against the Scarlet Knights on the ground. But to get both of these guys back and to see what's going to happen as far as the cohesiveness on the field, I don't think they're going to skip a beat. I think you're going to see them come out and run the ball very well. And they may have to do that given Iowa's ability to stop teams from throwing the football a whole lot against them. Jackson Smith and Jigba. I know. Everybody's pretty much heard right now. By now, if you haven't heard the news, you've been living under a rock. And if I'm the first one to tell you, well, then I guess that's kind of cool that I'm the first one to tell you. But according to sources, he's going to play today. And his name was not on the unavailability report. So, how much are we going to see JSN, number 11, out there on the field catching balls? Is he going to have just a little bit, maybe just kind of throw him in a little bit here and there? Or are they going to put him out there and let him fly? Heck, maybe we even see the first pass of the game go to him just to see how ready he is to hit the gridiron. So that's going to be a very interesting aspect for the Buckeyes today. Now, other side of the ball. Defensively, offensively, like I said, Iowa not so good on offense. And Ohio State, so far statistically, very good on defense. All the 5th-ranked defense in the country needs to do is stop Iowa's stop Iowa's offense, who is averaging 238 yards a game, which is good for 131st in the country. And if you know all of your FBS teams, which I don't, but I know that there's 131, that is dead last. They've had some issues on offense. They got a young quarterback, an inexperienced offensive line. In fact, their quarterback, Petrus, has thrown more interceptions than he has touchdowns, 2 to 3. Sam Laporta, their tight end, he's kind of a guy they're trying to hang their hat on, and that's no surprise because Iowa loves throwing to the tight end, right? So we're going to see what this Iowa offense can do to counter Ohio State's 5th-ranked defense, who's allowing only 253 yards a game. So if you kind of play the law of averages, Ohio State is allowing 253 yards a game, and Iowa is only gaining 238. Ohio State should not have a problem defensively today in trying to stop the Hawkeyes, but they may have to rely on their defense at times to put them in a good position and play on a short field, depending on if Iowa's passing defense is as legit as on paper they seem to be. And once again, we've seen what a good passing defense can actually do to this Buckeye passing game. They flummoxed, Rutgers did, flummoxed CJ Stroud. So it's going to be interesting to see if Iowa can come in here and do the same thing. Now, the Buckeyes are currently favored by 29.5 points. 29.5. And some of you may say, yeah, that seems real. Some of you may say, whoa. Now, against Notre Dame and Arkansas State, they did not cover the spread. However, against Toledo, against Wisconsin, against Rutgers, and I believe even Michigan State. They may have been just shy against Michigan State at covering the spread. The spread kind of eludes me off top of my head. Don't hate me for getting those stats wrong. I'm trying to remember that right off the rip. Other stuff I've got written on a piece of paper here. However, I do know that today they're favored by 29.5, and the last time that Ohio State beat Iowa by 30 points, right here, 1999, and a guy by the name of Kirk Ferentz's first year as Iowa head coach. So, my prediction. Can the Buckeyes get that done today? Can they, can they not only win, I think they're going to win, but can they win by 30 points? Well, once again, seeing as the history that's happened here inside the shoe, seeing as how the last 60 years Iowa has only beaten Ohio State 5 times, and seeing as how Ryan Day has been preaching now to his guys for the last 2 weeks what getting a win against Iowa here today is going to mean, I'm going to say the Buckeyes get it done, and they're going to win just barely. How about by a final score of 55-24? Would that not be just desserts or what for Buckeye Nation? So there you go. Hey, everybody, thank you for checking this out. I will see you for the pregame or for the postgame wrap up. In the meantime, enjoy. Let's go Bucks, and take care.